I didn't used to be afraid of the number 9. It was just a number, like any other. But 39 is 3 times 13, and 13 is supposed to be unlucky. And 3 is the number of times I've almost died since I moved into this house. So maybe I should have seen it coming. The thing about terror is that it never announces itself with a scream. It whispers, it waits, it shows up in the small things, the things you can explain away until you can't anymore. That's how it was with 39. I found the house on a real estate app. A fixer-upper in a small town about an hour from the city, cheap enough that I could actually afford it on my salary. The listing photos showed peeling wallpaper and stained carpets, but the bones were good. Solid foundation, new roof, a fireplace that probably hadn't been used since the 70s. I made an offer, and the seller accepted it the same day. No counteroffer, no negotiation, just a one-word email. Yes, I should have been suspicious. I wasn't. The first week was fine. I painted the living room a soft gray, ripped up the old carpet to reveal beautiful oak floors, and scrubbed every surface until my hands were raw. The house had 3 bedrooms upstairs and a basement that I hadn't explored fully. The basement door was in the kitchen, a heavy wooden thing with a latch that stuck. I opened it once, just to peek. Concrete floor, exposed beams, a single bare bulb that flickered when I pulled the string. It smelled like wet earth and old metal. I closed the door and told myself I'd deal with it later. The strange thing started on the 9th day. I was in the bathroom, brushing my teeth before bed, when I noticed the mirror. There was a crack in the corner that hadn't been there before. A small one, barely visible, but when I leaned closer, I saw that it wasn't a crack at all. It was a number, carved into the glass from the other side. 39. I turned the mirror around. The back was solid wood, no carving. I turned it back, and the 39 was still there, faint but unmistakable. I wiped the glass with my sleeve, thinking maybe it was just a smudge. It wasn't. It was etched into the silver backing, deep enough that I could feel it with my fingernail. I told myself the previous owners must have done it. Some kid with a glass engraving kit. I finished brushing my teeth and went to bed. That night, I dreamed I was standing in the basement. The light bulb was on, casting everything in a sickly yellow glow. I was counting something. Steps? No. Beats. A heartbeat, slow and heavy, coming from the far wall. I walked toward it, and the concrete wall began to change. Numbers appeared one after another, inching across the surface like ants. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 39. And then the wall cracked open, and there was nothing behind it but darkness that breathed. I woke up gasping at 3:39 a.m. My phone was on the nightstand. The time was 3:39 on the dot. I didn't sleep again that night. Over the next week, the number 39 started appearing everywhere. I'd open a cabinet and find 3 cans of soup lined up next to 9 cans of beans. 39 total. I'd look at my microwave clock and it would be 3:39 or 6, 39 or 9:39. I'd step on the scale and my weight would read 139.4. I told myself it was confirmation bias. Once you notice a number, you see it everywhere. That's a real thing. It has a name, the frequency illusion, Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. I know all the terms because I spent an entire night Googling them instead of sleeping. But then the noises started. It was subtle at first. A soft tapping from inside the walls, like someone running their fingernails along the pipes. I assumed it was mice. Old houses have mice. Then the tapping became rhythmic. Tap, 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 pause. Tap, tap, tap. A pattern of 3 and 9. 3 taps, pause, 9 taps. Over and over, from dusk until dawn. I bought traps. I set them in the basement, in the kitchen, in the crawl space under the stairs. The traps were empty every morning, but the tapping continued. On the 19th day, I found the first drawing. I was cleaning out the attic, a small, cramped space accessible by a pull-down ladder in the upstairs hallway. The attic was full of boxes left by the previous owner. Old Christmas decorations, mildewed books, a trunk full of clothes that smelled like mothballs. At the very back, behind a broken chair, I found a shoebox. Inside the shoebox were dozens of folded pieces of paper, children's drawings, all of them done in crayon, all of them showing the same thing: a house, a stick figure standing at the door, and the number 39 written in the sky like a sun, but the sun was black, and the stick figure had no face. I went through every drawing. The dates on the back ranged from 1987 to 2003. Different names, different handwriting, but the same house, the same number, the same faceless figure. I called the real estate agent the next morning. She said the house had changed hands 9 times since it was built in 1978. That was the first time I'd heard that number, 9, and felt my stomach drop. 9 owners in 39 years. I did the math. 1978 plus 39 is 2017. The house had been built 39 years before I bought it, and every owner before me had sold within 3 years. 9 owners, 3 years each, 27 years total. No, that wasn't right. I was bad at math when I was panicking. I asked the agent for the names of the previous owners. She said she couldn't share that information without permission. I asked if any of them had died in the house. A long pause. Then she said, "I really think you should talk to the seller directly," and hung up. The seller's name was Margaret. I had her number from the closing documents. I called her that afternoon. She answered on the 3rd ring, and when I introduced myself, she went very quiet. "You're in the house," she said. Not a question. "Yes, I just wanted to ask about some things I found. Drawings. In the attic." She started crying. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a soft, steady weeping that made me want to hang up and never call anyone again. "My little girl drew those," she said. She was 5. She drew them every day for 3 months before she disappeared. Disappeared? She went down to the basement to get a jar of pickles. I heard her counting the steps. She always counted the steps. 15 steps down. But that day she kept counting. I heard her go past 15, past 20, past 30. I called her name. She said, "Almost there, Mommy." And then she counted to 39, and then I never heard her again. Margaret's voice cracked. The police searched the basement. There was no way out. No other doors, no windows. She was just gone. And every night after that, I heard the counting again. From inside the walls, from under the floor, from places that shouldn't have had space for a child. She said she sold the house a year later. She said the new owners called her within 6 months, asking about the drawings. She said she told them to leave. Most of them did, but some of them stayed, and some of them heard the counting too, and some of them started drawing. "Have you heard it yet?" she asked. I lied. I said no. That night I heard it for the first time. Not from the basement, from the kitchen. I was making tea at around 11 p.m., trying to forget Margaret's words, when I noticed the basement door was slightly open. I always kept it latched. I walked over and pushed it closed. As I did, I heard a sound from the other side, a child's voice, soft and small. 31. I froze. My hand was still on the door. 32. The voice was coming from inside the basement, but it wasn't below me. It was right on the other side of the wood. I could feel the vibration of the word through the handle. 33. I stepped back. My legs were shaking. 34. I ran to the front door. I ran outside. I stood on the lawn in my pajamas, barefoot in the cold grass, staring at my house. Every window was dark, but the basement window, the small, grimy one near the foundation, had a light on, a faint, flickering light. I had not turned on the basement light. I had never turned on the basement light. The counting continued. I could hear it even from outside, muffled but unmistakable. 35, 37. I got in my car and drove to a motel. I didn't go back for 3 days. When I finally did, it was mid-afternoon, and the sun was bright, and I convinced myself I had imagined everything. The basement door was latched. The light was off. There were no drawings on the kitchen counter, no taps in the walls. I almost believed I was safe. That night, I woke up at 3:39 a.m. to find the basement door wide open. The light was on, and the steps, the wooden steps leading down into the dark, were covered in crayon drawings. Each step had a number, 1 through 38, in ascending order, and at the bottom, on the concrete floor, a single piece of white paper. On it, a child's drawing. A stick figure with a mop of brown hair, me standing at the top of a staircase, and at the bottom of the staircase, a small hand reaching up. The number 39 was written in the corner, in red crayon so dark it looked almost black. I heard her then, not from the basement, from behind me. From the kitchen, I spun around. No one was there, but the voice was clear as a bell. 39, she whispered. Say it with me. I opened my mouth. I don't know why. The word was right there on the tip of my tongue. It wanted out. It wanted to be spoken. I could feel it pulling at my jaw the same way a sneeze builds behind your nose. There I started, and then I bit down, hard. I bit my tongue until I tasted blood, and I ran. I ran out the front door, and I haven't been back since. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm writing this from a friend's couch, 60 miles away. But last night, I found a drawing in my backpack. I don't know how it got there. It shows me, sleeping on this couch, with a small hand reaching out from under the cushions, and the number 39. I hear tapping in the walls of this house now. My friend doesn't hear it. He thinks I'm losing my mind. Maybe I am, but I know what I heard. I know what I saw, and I know that tonight, I'll wake up at 3:39 again, and the basement door will be at the foot of my bed, and the steps will be there, waiting. I've been counting my own heartbeats for the past hour. 39 beats per minute. That's not normal. A resting heart rate should be between 60 and 100. I should be dead. But I'm not. I'm just standing here, staring at the closet door because I just saw it move. Just a crack. Just enough for a small, pale finger to curl around the edge. She's counting again. I can hear her. 1, 2, 3. I have to go. I have to say it. I can feel it building in my chest. That number. That terrible, perfect number. 39. Maybe if I say it, she'll stop. Maybe if I say it, she'll go away. Or maybe she's been waiting all this time for someone to finish the count. And when I do, I'll find out where all the other owners went. The closet door is opening. I can see her now. The same pigtails. The same pink dress. The same smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She's holding a crayon. She's handing it to me. And I think I'm going to take it.